This ship gets +1 to her boarding rolls. One of the most overrated, annoying abilities in the game. And I'll tell you why I think that. So I might actually do a most overrated abilities in the game video, but this one I have to highlight, just a short video. I think this is just overrated. I don't understand the costing on it sometimes, and I don't understand why people think it's so great. So I've got a lot of reasons for it. I will say it can be good. I'm not saying it's a horrible ability to have. I'm not saying I'd rather not have it or anything. That would be crazy to say that. And I think they originally costed it approximately right at 2 points. WizKids did that in Spanish Main. For example, Castro's Loyalists, +1 to boarding rolls, and then got a link to Castro, who's a good crew, for 2 points. So that's not too bad, and it makes sense thematically, like a group of people, like some kind of thugs or some kind of security force or whatever, who help out with boarding parties and whatnot, who follow some kind of leader or whatever. So not a bad idea. But then they immediately started messing things up in Crimson Coast. Bloody Jake, 3 points for +1 to boarding rolls, and then a couple sets later, he shows up with the same ability for 4. So I don't understand how it's worth that much. So Captain is 3, Helmsman 2, +1 to boarding rolls. I mean, it doesn't really even sound good. So it doesn't make that much of a difference. That gets into my pros and cons list of sorts. So you get a bonus of 1, but if you're rolling from 1 to 6, that's a huge swing. So I'd rather have reroll personally. I know a lot of people wouldn't, but this is kind of my like unpopular opinion video, at least on this ability. Maybe I'll do like a series on that or something. So let's say you've got a 2-master versus a 3-master in a boarding roll, and sure, it's nice if you have +1 to boarding rolls on the 2-master. A lot of ships have it built in. It's one of the more popular abilities, which is kind of part of the reason I talk about it so much too, is because I kind of forced to. Then you're, okay, sure, you're even, okay, but then they roll a 5 and you roll a 4, and it doesn't matter. So, or you roll, or you have a 1-master, they have a 3-master that has +1 to boarding rolls. You roll a 6, your score is 7. If they roll, so a 3-master with +1 to boarding rolls starts at 4, so that if they even rolled a 2 or a 1, the bonus wouldn't matter, and then you'd have like a, one of those miracle winning boards. I've seen 1-masters beat 5-masters in boarding parties. I've seen too many miracles and too many random rolls come up the way you wouldn't expect. Boarding advantages just don't, I don't know, it's just overrated, so, and overpriced. So we'll take a look at a couple more. Carl Smith, 4 points, silly. And then he got an addition in Barbary Coast, +1 cannon rolls against Sportsman and Esper. That's another overpriced ability. That one, it's worth no more than maybe 1 point. +1 to boarding rolls. You could make a decent case that's only a 1-point ability. Then we saw Drag It with the same thing. Jennings Red Rampage, 2 points. Okay, fair enough. So not too bad there. Jack Hawkins, Ocean's Edge, Captain, +1 to boarding rolls for 6. Should be 5 or maybe even 4. So, and then they made it even worse, because then it starts saying she gets +2 instead if her opponent is a sea monster, but you're not going to board sea monsters on purpose, almost ever. I don't know if I've done that yet. Maybe I have, but the bonus, I probably wouldn't need a bonus either way, and I probably haven't done it. So +2 instead. I mean, it's like a defensive mechanism, but 5 points for that total, that's just totally a ripoff. Could be 2 or 3 points. So +2 instead against sea monsters, that could, that's not even, I don't know if that registers on the scale. I don't know if that would be like a half-point ability. It's just so, like, what do you cost that at? I mean, it can't be free, but, I mean, it's not good. So, anyway, Ned Lands, that's where it just got ridiculous with WizKids costing. So, yeah, so that gets to the next point, overpriced. WizKids made the mistake of, like, just jacking up the costs over time. Another example of the reverse power creep. So Ned Lands has +1 to boarding, +2 instead if her opponent is a sea monster or a submarine. How are you going to board a submarine if it's submerged in the first place? Or a sea monster, same thing. So 6 points for that is just kind of insulting. It's just, you look at it and just shake your head. So Roderick the Pure, one of my least favorite English crew, 4 points for just the basic +1. The Nameless got it. What a mess. So no more than 2 points. I still think you could argue 1. And I said, why not more? So I've done this with my custom ships and crew sometimes, especially in Pirates of the Epic Seas. This ship gets +2 to her boarding parties, or maybe even +3. I don't think I've gone more than +3 yet. but at least not for a basic ability, maybe as part of SAC or something, I think recently. But +2 or +3, then it would actually make more of a difference. The +1, I don't really care about a bonus of +1 when your roll is from 1 to 6. The swing of results from 1 to 6. If you can have a 1 master beating a 5 master, I don't really care about the +1. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So reroll can be better, and then of course you can apply reroll to a ton of other things that the ship is going to do anyway. So I think they should have done. One thing I find interesting is that if they had done it from the start completely differently, they could do +1 to boarding rolls for 1 point, especially in comparison to things like captain, helmsman, oarsman. It's not really worth more than that. So then you could do +2 to boarding rolls at 2 points, and then just have it scale in cost to the bonus tied to the point cost. Then you could do +3 to boarding rolls for 3 points. I think that would actually be a decent way to do it too. So any more than 2 points for the +1 is just really, really bad pricing. So, and the RAM roll can matter more. So a lot of times RAM damage is like a big factor in games, especially against smaller ships. So there's no like +1 to RAM rolls. That's another custom ability that's easy to implement, or you could add it to your custom game pieces if you wanted to. But a lot of times the RAM roll is going to matter more than the boarding roll anyway. So paying points for a boarding roll bonus that's going to be very hit and miss. And again, like you get a 3 master against a 3 master. Sure, it'd be nice if you both rolled a 1, and then the +1 to boarding rolls that you have, that your opponent doesn't have, is the difference. But more likely they'll roll a 5 against your 3 or something like that. Or you just won't need it. You'll just roll a 6, then you roll a 6 on the next turn, and they won't roll as high, and then you just won't need the bonus. It'll be like, oh, I beat you by even more because of the bonus, and that's not worth paying for, so it doesn't matter. So little rant here. So, however, like I said, it's not a bad ability. It's just overpriced, and again, in my opinion, overrated. I don't think it's irrelevant on large ships. Like the Grand Path is a 6 master with +1 to boarding rolls, but that doesn't mean she's always going to be a 6 master. In most games, she's going to be a target. She's going to get hit. She's not very fast, for example. I'm just using this ship as an example. I'll look her up right now, actually, just to get it on the screen here. This is a classic Jade Rebellion Junk, one of the better 6 masters in the game. And it's not a crew, so I'll have to research here. And yeah, +1 to boarding rolls on a ship is decent. It can work well on hybrids or maybe gunships. I guess defensively on gold runners. I don't really seek it out on ships either, though. But the Grand Path, 6 mast, so +1 to boarding rolls, so base of 7. So even a 3 master, let's say rolls a 6, then it's 9. If you roll a 1, it'd be like 9-8. So I don't think it's irrelevant on large ships. There's no guarantees with boarding parties. The best thing you can do to have a guaranteed boarding party is a 10 master. But then, even then, you might go against another 10 master. You might go against a 6 master. A 6 master could beat a 10 master 12 to 11 on rolls of 6 to 1. I've seen plenty of boarding parties, not like that exactly, but I've seen a lot of miracle boarding parties, like miracle shots, that sort of thing. I've played enough to see plenty of that. Not that it always happens or anything, but I don't think boarding roll bonuses are irrelevant on large ships. So yeah, get weaker. So the ship is gonna lose mass. So then the boarding roll bonus is gonna theoretically matter more and more as she loses mass. So eventually the Grand Pass will be down to 3 mass. So then if you're boarding at 4, that might be more value than boarding it at a base of 7 if you're healthy. So, and even at 7, like I said, even if facing a smaller ship, you still have a chance of losing. So it's still nice to have it on regardless of size. So, and yeah, no guarantees with boarding parties. You can always lose. There's the 1 to 6 swing is just too big to, you can't ignore that. You can't just be like, oh, I have a bonus. But if you roll a 1 and your opponent rolls a 6, it's not going to matter unless it was like +2 or +3, then it would be better. And you might be fighting a 10 master, so then in that case, it's not going to be irrelevant either, regardless of the ship size. So that's for sure. And like I said, it can be decent on some combo crew. Not really the ones we looked at already, but there are a few good ones. And let's see if I can go back here. So for example, Cartier has extra action and +1 to boarding rolls. EA is 5, +1 to boarding rolls 2, so it's priced right. And in this case, it's nice because then you save a cargo space. You're probably going to use them on a gunship, and then and then you can get 2 abilities for 1. And then very similar is Commodore Peregrine Stern. So he gives Captain EA and +1 of boarding rolls all in 1 cargo space for 9 points. So, and their +1 of boarding rolls is almost like priced at 1, sort of, but then the hostility to Spain is kind of like -1 from what WizKids did with that. So anyway, so it can be good if you got other abilities, not like Drag It, where both abilities are overpriced and not likely to impact games at all. But so again, it's not a bad ability, it's just overpriced, overrated, and I think it's kind of too bad the way it turned out. So I kind of wish it was less popular. It's an easy one to add, and I've done it on some of my customs, but again, even just jacking it up to +2, +3 to boarding rolls is a little more unique and exciting, and I think it justifies the cost a bit more. So let me know if you want to see more like rants or overrated abilities or even underrated abilities. That could be another video or even a series. Could do like Ben's unpopular opinions series based on my playing experience and whatnot. So beyond that, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you again soon for more videos.